Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. Sorry, we're a couple of minutes late.
Carl was right. I was watching.
He was watching. No worries, Carl. So we are doing score the players for that abysmal, pathetic performance of Brighton Hove Albion 3, Newcastle United 0. I'm here with Sam Milner and Liam Kerr. Right, gents, let's get straight into it. I'll start with the goalkeeper for a change. I'll start with Martin Dubravka. The first two goals, I look at them again, and I was like, could he do a bit better? Because the second one, I said in the live watching, I said, I think he could do a bit better. But when you actually see it again, it does take the slightest of nicks on its way through for Danny Welbeck's shot. But the whole team was poor tonight. I'm going to go 3 out of 10 for Dubravka. Look, you can see what we think as a channel now. We've been doing this for a while, so you've got the message tonight. But yeah, 3 out of 10 for Dubravka. Just 3 poor goals that we gave away, but no one did well. No one did well tonight. Right, Javi Manquillo. We've just debated and debated and debated over right backs. Javi Manquillo was absolutely appalling tonight, and that second goal, what on earth is he doing?
Appalling. He was absolutely shocking. He was crap when he came on against Villa. The 2 previous games before then, I know how much Kraft gets maligned, but we've looked weaker at the back after Kraft had been substituted, which sums up how awful we are in that area. Manquillo's getting a 2 from me, and that's generous, believe me. How you can't just show Welbeck down the line for that second goal is absolutely disgusting. Why let him cut inside and invite a shot? Terrible.
Has he been rushed back, Sam, or not?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. He's had a good solid few weeks in training now. Got brought on for 20 minutes in the last game, another full week of training. No, I don't think he has been rushed back. I just think we've got 2 real poor right backs, and whichever one plays, they're going to throw in a stinker like Manquillo's done today, and what Kraft's done plenty of times before as well. So, again, like you said before, no one played well tonight. There is a degree of an argument for doing that, but. Yeah, he offered nothing going forward because he was so exposed, because Brighton play with so much width and we're so narrow because of our midfield.
Asking for trouble. Liam, welcome to the show. I'm going to let you start with Jamaal Lascelles today. The captain of the club, who in recent weeks he's now been one of our better players with his performances. I think the third goal, though, you'll not look back with much joy, because I think he could be a little bit closer to more playing. I don't know what you thought.
It was all over by the third. It was all over by when the first goal went in. So regardless of what happened on the third goal, do you know what I mean? I think all we're gonna say is just this copy and paste job for the rest, and we're just repeating what you started and then Sam says. And I think obviously no one's played particularly well the day of the. Both of them look shaky, so I think I'm going to have to give them a 2. They just looked all over the place. We just didn't really have a defence as such half the time.
Just nothing today. Like we just.
Lascelles got caught napping a few times and played a couple of their players on side as well, which didn't help things. But yeah, this kind of sets the tone.
We're talking about Danny Welbeck and Neil Maupay that our centre halves were up against today. Danny Welbeck doesn't score a lot of goals. Scored probably a worldie for Danny Welbeck, and Neil Maupay scored a half decent goal as well today. And we've made them look a little bit better than they actually are. But I completely agree with Liam. Like the centre halves were poor, and I'll give Ciaran Clark the same. I'll give him a 2. I was probably thinking Lascelles would get a 3, so I could give Clark a 2, but I don't think Clark was deserving of a 1. But I'll go 2. I think he's at fault for the first goal. Gets easily turned by Trossard, and Does he expect them to score from there? Probably not, but still, don't let him have the shot. Don't let him have the shot. Just try and, put a foot in, just do something. And that really frustrated me, that moment. And I don't know if you remember, Sam, but it was straight after the injury for Hayden. And we'll touch on about that in a second. But you switch on. You switch on at that moment. You haven't got long till half time. Switch on. Just literally, the first half was poor anyway. Just literally, all you have to do is just make sure that we can get in at 0-0 at half time. It's not hard, but he didn't have a better second half, Ciaran Clark. One of his poor performances in a black and white shirt, and not one that he will remember fondly. I don't think anybody will remember fondly about that.
We made Brighton look like they were trying to challenge for the title.
Where we did last time we played them. Like I said in the instant match reaction.
3-0 against Brighton, Sam.
Yeah,
well, I haven't had a shot on target in both games.
Yeah, I said in the instant match reaction, we've lost 6-0 on aggregate to the team in 16th place.
Pathetic. Absolutely.
And arguably didn't even have the best player playing as well in Landy. Do you know what I mean? You can imagine what the score would have been then.
God knows. Paul Dummett, Sam, challenging that second half. I thought, it's a bit of an orange card. But,
pretty thick. Copy and paste job, I'm afraid, too, as well. Pretty similar to Manquillo. Offered nothing. Brighton's wingers had a field day. And all three of the goals came from moments out wide where they were allowed to be cut in and create that way. Not good. Not good from anyone. I mean, Ollie put this in the comments before, and I was going to come on to it when we discuss Steve Bruce later, but it seems I put it up before. Like, we were carved open twice in the first 3 minutes.
100%.
Like, properly carved open twice in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Brighton should have been 1-0 up in the first 2 minutes with that chance. If that guy just hits it on target, you never know where it's going. And I think Dummett's got to do better for the third goal. The cross is just so easy. You got to just we talk about the same with Jamaal Lewis. Stop the cross. That's your job. That is your job as a fullback. Defend. You defend before you attack. If you defend well, you'll get chances to attack throughout the game. Simple as that. And that is basic. That is absolutely basic, but it's just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Joe Willock is next. Did he play tonight, Liam?
No. Pretty much he started on such a high, now he's just a Newcastle player now. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, we might show up one game and then we'll just drift off. But it's hard because you can see he's got potential and you can see he's a good player, but clearly this formation doesn't suit anybody at the moment. And I think it's
why is he persisting with it then, Liam?
Well, that's the question. Why is he? Do he persist with everything though? Like, he persists with 5 at the back. When we're on like a 11-game losing streak, he put 5 at the back against Sheffield United, and then it's just you're just sort of scratching your head. But going back to Willock, I didn't really see much of him today. Like,
this formation, but this formation should be suiting Willock the most out of the midfield three, because it's allowing him license to get forward and support whoever the hell's trying to play in a false, invisible striker, non-existent role where you just kind of twiddle your thumbs and run around for a bit and then not do much and then, do nothing. But he did nothing tonight, as did pretty much everyone in black and white. He was the first to go off after Hayden, of course, but just nothing. Offered nothing. Just tedious.
We talked about this before the game with Joe, that we said this is your game that you need to stand out. This is the moment that you can go, come on. This is why we've decided to go for you as in terms of a lone player. We took a gamble because we could have got a Hamza Ciaran, possibly could have got an Ainsley Maitland-Niles, but kind of put all our eggs in one basket in terms of Joe Willock, and didn't she?
Wouldn't have made any difference whoever we got playing like that.
No, but I'm just saying you want somebody who potentially has a bit of potential for a big club like Arsenal. You know, where was it today?
Messi could play in that team and he would still be shit. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad it is.
No, it's a fair debate. Isaac Hayden's next to me. He's come out on Twitter and said it's a knee injury and not a broken leg. It just didn't look great on TV. So
I still think it's knee ligaments. I think it's a bad one.
Yes, I think it's a bad one as well. I think you'd be very lucky if it's not a bad injury, but it just looked like a broken leg, didn't it? Like it was just the way it felt like it was a complete and utter accident by Bissouma, but it was horrible to look at. But look, that's probably Isaac Hayden's last game of the season, and
His last game of the Premier League for about 2 years.
Probably it could be. Look, we didn't concede while he was on. He did okay.
I thought he was our best player.
But Sammy didn't barely do anything, really.
Yeah, I know. I never said he played well.
I'll go 4.
Yeah, that's what I would have given.
It's probably the highest rating it's going to be the night.
Oh, easily. I mean, he'll be lucky. I mean, we wish him all the best. I hope it's not as serious as we all think it is, because I think he'll be lucky to see the first game of next season.
Who takes his place, Liam, in the starting 11 for the next game?
Who do I want, or who do I know is going to start? It's going to be. I would want either one of the Longstaff brothers, but it's going to be Hendrick, isn't it?
We'll talk about him later. Sam, Jonjo Shelvey.
What did he do?
What did he do?
Ran around for a bit, chased the ball, tried to go forward, lost the ball, passed the ball to Brighton, passed the ball to us for a bit. Did more than Willock. I'm giving him a 2.5.
There was one moment in the second half, I don't know if you can remember, Sam, but the ball just kind of lost Shelvey a little bit, and it was between him and Bissouma to see who could win the ball and who had a bit more
fight every time
and a bit of passion and a bit of desire to try and get that ball. And Bissouma won and drove on.
Yeah.
What
do you expect?
Just a moment.
These players are not playing for the manager. They've had enough. It's quite clear. I mean, we'll come on to Bruce later on, so I'm not going to kick the boot in yet, because I will do later. But the players have no motivation. We saw that tonight. The system doesn't work. This was a must-win game, and it was just an absolute embarrassment by all of them. I'm a little bit embarrassed to wear this shirt tonight. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you're not fit to wear the shirt. Take it off.
No. Well, I'm not fit, I'll tell you that.
You'll be getting these dressing gowns soon, Liam. We'll be copying you.
If I was there, I'll be throwing my season ticket at you.
I like that. Right, Liam, Joelinton. We talked about in the the lads talked about in the preview about we needed to take our chances because we're not going to get many chances against Brighton, which is still I find bizarre when you say that because they're only one place above us in the league table. So there was an argument whether even to start Joelinton because he hasn't scored in God knows how long. Again, he didn't do a great deal tonight, did he?
Is he back?
Is he there?
Hello, I thought it was my internet. I thought it was you, not me.
No, it's definitely you.
Anyway, we'll agree to disagree.
Joelinton.
Yeah,
Joelinton. Do you think what did he do tonight, Liam?
Walked around the pitch for 90 minutes. Like in the last few weeks, I've probably been one of his biggest fans by saying he has created probably one most chances, but like it was just everybody the day. There was just no real effort, and he was walking towards the end, not even running, not even charging anybody down. But do you know what I mean? So it's got to. I think it's got to be a one the day. Like,
was he the worst player on the pitch?
No, that was Jeff Hendrick.
No, but was he that bad? Was he that bad tonight?
This wasn't a game for him tonight. I put this in my Sam versus Bruce for the members only. If you click the join button, this was a game not for Joelinton, not for Andy Carroll. This was a game for Gale with Fraser and Miggy either side. His kind of attributes don't suit this type of game. It's just completely ineffective and completely what I was expecting from him tonight. Hung out to dry again, was doing better, but doesn't carry a goal threat. Simple as that.
Was the ideal three in hindsight tonight? Murphy on the right, Fraser on the left, and Gale in the middle, or Carroll in the middle?
No, it wasn't a game for Andy Carroll. I mean, it didn't matter who. I mean, we could have had ASM and Wilson on. The result would have been the same.
Yeah.
Going back to Murphy, I don't even remember him touching the ball.
No.
We'll talk about him in a second. But yeah, 1 out of 10. See if you agree with it in the comments. We'll put a few out later on in the score and the players. Remember, we've also had the live watch along with me, Sam, for most of the game. Rather, Sam was in, me, Carl and Brandon were in there. We had the fan reaction show with Carl and Adam. And we've also got the last word with Lee after this, and you don't want to miss the last word, believe me. Moving on to Mickey Almiron, the surprise man who started. I thought he might have been on the bench after Bruce's press conference yesterday. But so I was very, very surprised to hear that he was going to be starting the game, playing as a false 9. Now, rumour has it he only had a couple of training sessions, so when was it discussed that Miguel Almiron was going to be playing as a false 9 for this Brighton game? Because my bet would have been probably Thursday lunchtime at best. Didn't do a great deal. Like I say, you're only going to get an hour out of him, considering he's been out for a few weeks. Played a pass into Fraser who hits the post. That was probably the most that he did going forward. I thought he looked anonymous throughout most of the spells in the game that which he was playing. Was he the worst player on the pitch? No. I'll go 3. I'll go 3 for Almiron tonight.
I don't blame him I don't blame Bruce for starting him because it was the biggest game of the season. Yeah, I would have done, but it was the rest of his selection that I had an issue with. But giving Miggy an hour I didn't have a problem with. It was just not having a striker on the pitch with him.
Someone put in the points in the watch long, Sam. I don't think it might even have been you. We didn't actually have a striker on the pitch for the 90
minutes. That was me.
Was it you? We didn't have a striker at all. Again, in a game that we decided that was a must-win game, we didn't play a striker.
Yeah.
We're not
Same
Man
at West
City.
Brom.
We're not Man City, where you can play 3 wingers pretty much, or 3 false 9s because they're actually very good at football. We've got Joelinton, Gale, Carroll, and Murphy, who we can't decide whether they're all Premiership players or Premier League players rather. The mind boggles. Ryan Fraser had our one and possibly only chance, really. You can talk about Hayden's header in the first half, but let's be brutally honest, the only chance that we had was Fraser's effort that hit the post. There's a bit of a debate, Sam, actually, about Fraser, whether people are saying he was awful, some people say he was probably one of the better players tonight. I know the Chronicle are saying that didn't really do a great deal. How would you rate his performance today?
Well, everyone was poor, so I wouldn't say he played well. He tried to be the outlet, but when he's getting long balls pumped to him and he's about 4'2", I mean, what do you expect? What do you think is going to happen? I mean, like I said to you during the watch-along, we had a counter-attack in the second half. There was 2 black and white shirts trying to counter against 7 Brighton shirts. Nothing was ever going to work. There was crosses going into the box, and like you said, Dunk had time to chest it down and then clear it. There was just nothing to work with, nothing to do. He hasn't look, he hasn't been the player that we expected and wanted him to be since he came. Is the formation helping him? No. Are the players around him helping him? No. There's obviously a player in there somewhere. Of course there is. Did he show it today? No. But again, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. He was at least trying to provide an outlet, which was more than Joelinton and Miguel were doing. 2.5, I think.
Did you think that shot? Did you think that was in, Liam, when he hit the post? Were you confident he was going to score or
not? It would have massively changed the game, wouldn't it, if it went in? But I agree with Sam. He didn't really do a lot. But he's probably the only. I wouldn't even say bright spark. He was sort of when you're trying to do a lighter and you kind of get it on properly. He was sort of like that.
That is the best description of how players play for Newcastle. I would try getting a lighter on and it just flicks. Oh, it's mint. Liam, I'll let you continue with Newcastle's first substitution. It was Jeff Hendrick in for Isaac Hayden after he obviously got a really bad injury. How did the Irish in yesterday get on?
Poor. I think even himself was starting to get frustrated because I think he lost the ball or he tried to pass it in and lobbed the player. I think it was quite a simple pass, but I think it would have been. But the thing that sticks out to me is he's done nothing in the last 6 games where he's played. I think there was one game where he literally just didn't do anything in the second half, and he's still getting ahead of both Longstaffs. There's clearly something's happened with the Longstaffs. Because I know Sean hasn't been great, but then that was in when we're playing 5 at the back, so obviously things could change. But didn't do a lot. 1 at a push.
Like the last few games he's come on or played in, even nobody can tell where he's supposed to be playing.
At one point, I said to you, Sam, do you think he looks like he's playing off Joelinton as a number 10? There was at one point where it looked like Miggy had just dropped back and Hendrick was our furthest midfield option. Yeah, and I just thought that's so bizarre.
That's just thick.
He just looks disinterested on the pitch. I honestly think he looks proper disinterested. I think he
but would you not be?
No, I'm just saying. Do you think every time he goes on the pitch, you think it doesn't matter how good or bad I'm going to do, I'm going to get slated anyway? Do you think he has that impression already?
No, because I think if you play as well, we're not his biggest fan, but I think if someone plays well, they're going to say they play well. But I think it just sometimes comes down to it where he's clearly lost his confidence. So you want to take him out the firing line for a while, and then you bring him into a game the biggest game of the season, and then he does nothing. So why not just give Longstaff a go, or just don't sub him on and we'll just play with 10 men.
May as well.
Yeah. We may as well went to Brighton when we started and went, we're just going to forfeit and just go back up to Newcastle.
Yeah, it would have only been 2-0 if we'd have forfeited.
Yeah.
Jacob Murphy's next for me. There was a big argument for him to start this game. And maybe if Miguel Almiron didn't come back as early as he did, I think he probably would have got a start today. He is direct when he has the ball at his feet, but he just didn't show it today.
Which I don't think was necessarily his fault.
No, it wasn't his fault. Today, we were 2-0 down before he came on today. So.
What I didn't understand, obviously, I know we're going to go on to this in a second, but how it took so long to make the second substitution when we're already 2-0 down.
Yeah, because he was warming up. He was warming up just after half time, literally just after the second half got underway. Jacob Murphy was warming up, and he didn't come on until just after 60 minutes.
Yeah, because I think I was going to put something in the group saying, what's the point of bringing someone on 5 minutes after the half time? You may as well just bring them on at half time. Do you know what I mean? But then it's just sort of like just bullshit, really. Isn't it?
Again, I'll probably say this with Fraser. I'll probably say this with Murphy. I'll probably say this with other players in the team. If they had a better manager or a better coach who could work with these players, I said Jacob Murphy needs a bit like Jamaal Lewis we talked about previously. I think if they have an actual coach that can coach them how to be better players in their position, I think you'll get the best out of Jacob Murphy. I really do. Is he Premier League level? That's the argument with him. Is he Premier League level? He could be with good coaching. But right now, is he good enough at Premier League level? I'd argue no. Because he needs someone to develop his game. He needs to be better with his final decision making. But he's not the reason why we lost tonight. He wasn't. I'm just gonna go 3 out of 10 for him because he wasn't the worst player on the pitch today.
I think there was one time where he picked the ball up and like he seemed like the only one to actually do anything. So I think he ran past a few players, and I'm thinking like obviously he's a local. He's not a local, but he's supposed to Newcastle. So like it just seems like sometimes when he comes on the pitch, he's like the only one that has a bit of passion to play for. Like everyone just so lethargic, I think is the word.
Very good word for you. Sam, do you not think this is the final bit on Jacob Murphy? There was a couple of times where he was trying to do something, but there was no support around him at all. Like Joelinton was just kind of walking around, looking at nothing. Obviously, Fraser wasn't really getting to those positions where I think, well, if Murphy does, get into a good position, I could possibly get on the end of something.
See, with Murphy, you need like a Carroll on the pitch because he obviously can cross the ball, can't he? Like, I think it's pointless bringing Murphy on if there's no one to hit the ball to.
Yeah.
Well, that's all Bruce does. His substitutions are just absolutely mind-numbing.
Did you see that interview with that Rowan Vine?
Yeah. Under the cosh.
Yeah, when Bruce played, when he was manager, when he was playing under Bruce as manager, and they won 1-0 down, and then Bruce took the left back off, put a right back on, moved the right back to centre mid, and then it's just like this is the sort of thing. Like, how long has this been going on for? Do you know what I mean? Like, how is he still a manager?
Yeah, he's past his sell-by date. But
I don't even think he had a sell-by date.
Exactly. Sam, Sean Longstaff, borderline non-applicable, possibly.
Yeah, it's just the latest player to get thrown under the bus when the game's gone. I was surprised Sean came on as early as he did because normally Bruce leaves his last substitution till 20 seconds to go.
Well, there's the appearance fee for him anyway. Sam, I'll let you start off with Steve Bruce. Fire away.
Just fuck off. Seriously, I mean, I'm just so beyond past angry now. And it's just so depressing. And that's just, after watching a performance like that, look at his post-match interview, look at his face. He knows he's a dead man walking. He knows he's waiting to be sacked. He doesn't want it anymore. None of us have wanted him. Everyone watching this doesn't want him, hasn't wanted him for ages. The moment he was finished before Christmas. It's now nearly the end of March. It's just 11 zombies on the pitch today being led by a dinosaur.
See, I think a dinosaur's a bit of a compliment because dinosaurs are quite cool at the end of the day, and he's not a quite cool person. Do you know what I mean? So
dinosaurs aren't that cool.
They are.
Oh,
would you not go to if they had a zoo in Jurassic Park? Would you not go and see them?
No, have you never seen the films? Look what happens.
Yeah, but you'd be the one where you would go like a year earlier, so then you avoid the T-Rex getting out.
Bruce needs to go. He's absolutely rotting our club to the core. There's so many more issues than just what's happening on the pitch, which is obviously by far the biggest one. What's going on with these academy lads? He's getting people to sign contracts and then not playing them. He's clearly lost the dressing room and has done for some time. The substitutions, the tactics, we got carved open, as I said before, twice in the first 3 minutes. his failure to kind of not reacting but being proactive and doing his. It doesn't look like he does any homework on his teams. We knew how Brighton played. Look at what happened the first time we played him. He learns nothing from previous defeats, from previous experiences. He's got all this experience that we're told, but he does fuck all with it. Doesn't use it, and it's just insulting. Absolutely insulting. He's getting a 0 from me. I don't see how he can get anything other than a 0 tonight. The only reason he won't walk away is because he wants his payoff, even though he says he wants the best for the club. Claims to be a boyhood fan, even though he says he was at the FA Cup final in 1975. When newsflash, we weren't in it that year. It was 1974. Well done, Steve. Just seriously, clear off.
Liam. There was just no plan A. The plan B was just, it wasn't a plan B, it wasn't a plan A. Sam was right about the tactics. It's just, there was just nothing there.
Yeah.
He has to go. He has to go, surely, doesn't he?
For me, it was sort of like, you know, when you play a Football Manager and it automatically gives you a formation at the start and like you forget to put the tactics on. It was sort of like that. He sort of just went, there we go. Like, just go and do something. Do you know what I mean? But I've been saying it for a while now. This formation isn't made for the players we've got at the moment. It's all played for ESM, Miggy, and Wilson, which I think it did work when we had them three. But if you haven't got them three, you need to pick your strongest formation to match the players you've got. Do you know what I mean? Like, a false nine, like we're playing long balls to Joelinton, Fraser, and Miggy today. Like, what's the point? Like, but then the thing is, though, if Carroll came on, we'd stop playing balls to the feet. Do you know what I mean? That's a stupid fucking thing. I think his substitutions are very poor all the time. It's just like I don't even like watching the match. I think I only watch the match because I come on this and just chat shit to you for like half an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even like watching the match. Like, I would rather just stare at my telly and not even turned on. Do you know what I mean? It's that bad. I'd rather just watch a blank screen. But, you know, I think he's chucking a lot of players under the bus. Obviously, he's not going to walk. But what I don't get is he failed at 2 championship clubs before he came to Newcastle, right? Why would you want him?
Because he was a yes man. Simple as that. He was available because he was, like I said in the live watch, on no disrespect to any Sheffield Wednesday fan who might watch this, he was always going to leave Sheffield Wednesday to come to Newcastle because of where Sheffield Wednesday were, mid-table, bottom half of the championship, and a Premier League job came coming. He was always going to take it. What are you going to give him, Liam, just before we...
0.
0 out of 10, Sam, for tonight. Steve Bruce, you need to go. Simple as that. Not good enough. Just an absolute appalling season for the majority of it. No plan A. Throwing players under the bus left, right and centre. You've lost the dressing room. If you had any sense of doing the honourable thing, you'd leave this football club tonight. But you know what? I know for a fact he won't. He'll, like Sam says, he'll wait until he's sacked and get his payoff. Mike Ashley apparently is in the Middle East. Probably hasn't even watched this game, arguably. But if he has, he needs to get this man out of this football club because we were sleepwalking into relegation in January. We are going to be relegated. We are going to be relegated. The only slightest chance that we have of staying up is if we can literally get a new man in who potentially can do something, can do miracles with the group of players we've got, get a formation, get a group of players playing for the shirt, and we might nick a couple of wins and we might just about stay above Fulham. But do you know what? Right now, I do not see that at all. We've got an international break now. Sorry, go on, Sam.
No, I was just going to say about the international break. Now is the time to do it. I mean, again, I know he should have gone months and months and months ago, but obviously we're in the situation we're in, and now is the time to do it. With the international break, you get a chance to get someone new in, and it has to be someone new. Not Graham Jones, not one of his other coaching staff. It has to be someone new, fresh input completely, and
it has to be done because it has to be done, Sam, because we're getting to the stage now where there's just far too much negativity. It doesn't matter what Steve Bruce does, press conference, game, post-match press, anything. It's all negative. It's all negative with Newcastle. But we have got an international break. It's 2 weeks, fortunately, until Newcastle's next game. Hopefully, we have a new manager by that point. We have got the last word with Lee at 12:15. I don't even know how long that is. It might not even be about 5 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes. So make sure you stay on for that. Honestly, you do not want to miss Lee in the last word. Is
he in a bad mood?
He's not in a very good mood, shall we say.
So the thing is, obviously doing the instant match reaction right after the final whistle goes, I found it really difficult tonight because I'm just so past being angry. I'm just completely drained, and it's just so depressing what Newcastle United's become. 25, 26 years I've been following Newcastle, and it's just
You know when Dubravka went down injured and obviously the players went over the side to get the drinks, it looked like Bruce looked like a lost puppy or a child. It was like Graham Jones was telling everybody what to do to try and improve it, and he literally just stood there like this.
Doesn't bode well for Graham Jones either, by the way. If he's telling people what to do and we're getting absolutely battered.
Well, that was always going to happen.
Yeah. But anyway,
not a good manager.
But then he can tell them what to do. If the formation's not right, it's still not going to achieve anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, who sticks with the same formation when it clearly's not fucking working? You know what I mean? But whatever. We'll go back to 5 at the back next couple of weeks.
He's been here nearly 2 years, still doesn't know his strongest team.
He still doesn't know how to play.
I would make an argument. I would make an argument. Steve Bruce has been the luckiest manager in Newcastle history.
Yeah.
Some
of their wins last season were ridiculous.
Look at the results he got last season. The fact that there's been no fans in this season, because my word, it would have been. Can you imagine how poisonous the atmosphere is?
Imagine that away end today. Wouldn't want to have been him today. Yeah, that is scoring the players. Steve Bruce gets a 0. If you disagree, tell us why. If you think that Steve Bruce has had his last game as manager, who would you like to see it coming from now at the end of the season? I think there'll be a few different names. But we have got the last word very, very shortly with Lisa. Make sure you continue with that. Make sure you watch all the videos that we've done previously before. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks against Tottenham, which is going to be an interesting game to say the least. But my thanks to Sam Mulliner and to Liam Kerr for scoring the players. I haven't actually a little gap this time where you can say thank you.
Well, it's not like we haven't got a Greenwood Mulliner Show to plug for tomorrow night, is it?
Do we?
Well, unless Steve Bruce gets sacked tomorrow, in which case we'll be live having.
Steve Bruce will not. Steve Bruce will be our manager at Burnley.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And we've even got Spurs next, so how concerning is that? But no, if nothing changes, then Olivier Bernard, me and Jonny had an explosive hour with him the other night. He does not like Graham Souness, so don't miss that tomorrow at 9:00.
Graham Souness. I don't think we want to watch this one, but I think hopefully a lot of Newcastle fans will. Greenwood Mulliner Show on NFTV tomorrow night. Bernard had Solano on recently as well, so make sure you give that a click as well. But from the three of us, we'll see you all very, very soon.